Go ahead.
Great. I think we are all set. So we can proceed to call the meeting to order. It looks like we are recording. So the time is now 10:01. So with that, we could call the meeting to order and begin. And then the brief note for everyone that this is a hybrid meeting. So like a regular in-person meeting of the CBLS, it is recorded.
Hold on one second. Chair, I'm sorry. It looks like Janelle might be having an issue. No?
Oh, is sure an audio.
Are we okay to proceed, Janelle? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that interruption.
No, thank you, Gene. That's great. We all have to cooperate with the technology, such as life. So, and that's part of the announcement here is that this is a hybrid meeting. So like a regular in-person meeting of the CBLS, it is recorded and will be archived on the State Bar website. The CBLS will take items on the agenda in the order that they appear on the agenda, and then votes for any items will be taken by roll call. And with that, we can begin roll call to confirm that we have a quorum.
Alano, absent. Bennett,
Present.
Jenkins,
Present.
Lee,
Not present.
Glory, Ruckert, Sermitis.
Present.
We have quorum.
Outstanding. So we'll provide the initial reminders. Is as required by the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, members are to appear visibly on camera during teleconference meetings, except if a member is unable to appear by video due to connectivity issues. We ask that any members who are present with their cameras off state their names and reasons for not being on camera. Additionally, if a member joins the meeting after roll call, they should raise their hand virtually to notify the chair and the public of their presence. If their camera is off, they should provide an explanation. Members should also raise their hands when leaving and returning to the meeting if they will be absent for more than 5 minutes. So moving on, we will now move to the public comment section of our meeting. So next on the agenda is our call for public comment. Before we begin public comment, I would like to remind everyone that under the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, public comments must pertain to items that are on the agenda or be related to matters that are within the jurisdiction of this agency. Specifically, the committee exercises oversight on our program, CBLS, Committee of Legal, the Program of Legal Specialization. Members of the public wishing to comment were encouraged to submit written comments prior to the meeting to ensure that the committee would have time to consider those comments. The committee has received and read all the written public comments. They have been provided to all of us, and we greatly thank you for those of you who provided written public comments. That's very helpful. To facilitate hearing as many members of the public as possible, I encourage you not to repeat points that were made by previous speakers. As the chair of the CBLS, will exercise the option to limit each speaker's time to 2.5 minutes so that we can facilitate the meeting. For those who are participating by Zoom video, you should have a function for virtually raising your hand. It is a hand icon and should appear at the bottom center of your screen. If you wish to address the committee, please click on the hand icon now, and the committee coordinator will call on you in the order that the hands are raised. For those of you who are participating by telephone, you may virtually raise your hand by pressing *9. That is the star key and then the number 9. Again, doing so will alert staff that you would like to make a comment, and the committee coordinator will call on you and open your microphone so that you may address the committee. For those of you who are participating from a noticed location, please alert the committee member or the State Bar staff member present in the room that you would like to make a comment. Staff will have an on-screen countdown timer visible to all attendees during the duration of your public comment. The timer's 2.5-minute countdown will begin as soon as you start your comment. The on-screen timer will flash throughout the final 10 seconds. I believe we have persons who wish to make public comment. So with that, we may then call them in this order. So members of the public at noticed locations, then advanced signups, and then members of the public who've raised their hands. So we'll go with public locations, then advanced sign up, and then those who have raised their hands. So I will defer to our coordinator to begin that process.
We have an advanced sign up, Jeremy Klein. I'll go ahead and enable your microphone to speak.
Excellent.
Thank you. I'm Jeremy Klein. I'm a former member of the Board of Legal Specialization and the Family Law Advisory Committee. I wanted to second the written comments submitted by another former member, Mark Lester. I understand that the committee may be winding down or sunsetting, which would be unfortunate. Hopefully, the Board of Trustees will come to their senses and not sunset the CBLS. But one of the issues that hasn't gotten enough attention is where is the money going? As pointed out, I think in Mr. Lester's comments, the State Bar previously borrowed quite a bit of money from the legal specialization program. If the program is dissolved, or if the board is dissolved, are the fees just going to be absorbed into the State Bar General Fund? This is a particular concern. I checked last night. My office, we have 11 certified specialists in family law in my office. So we are paying the additional $370 fee for 11 specialists. I have 4 associates in the office who are going to be taking the exam in October. And I'm concerned, where is all the money going to go if there is no CBLS and nobody to oversee it, both past and future money? I don't believe that has been adequately addressed, and I would hope that the CBLS, while you guys still exist, would fight for the program and fight to account for the money that the 4,000 specialists pay into the program. I know you're all volunteers. Thank you for your service, and with the coming change in the leadership of the bar, don't let them do this to the program. See if you can change people's minds. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. Klein, for your comments. Greatly appreciated. Just as a personal note, strongly recommend to provide those comments to the Board of Trustees and the Executive Committee as well, because I think it's certainly an issue of great passion, particularly for me personally as well. So that can go forward. I believe we have additional commenters.
We do. We have Mark Lester.
Excellent.
Your microphone has been enabled. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Mark.
Okay, sorry about that. And I'll turn on my video so you can see me, right?
Yes, thank you.
How do I do that? The picture is up. I don't have any control over the video.
Just mic only.
Okay, got it. So you have my written comments directed directly to the CBLS. Hopefully you got the letter that on behalf of 28 other specialists, we submitted to the Board of Trustees for their consideration at the February meeting where the issue was supposed to be discussed, but has been deferred. As background, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm the father of 3 Eagle Scouts. We can't do anything except tell the truth. And so I'm here as a former member of the CBLS, of the commissions, and I am urging you as your last act here to take on Goliath here. Actually, it's not really Goliath. This is the school bully picking on the defenseless. We know it's a done deal at the Board of Trustees because they are already rolling out to specialists a state bar logo that has no reference to the CBLS. So this is going to be your last meeting where you have the opportunity to fight. You should have a motion where you get to retain independent legal counsel who's not conflicted out like the State Bar Council is for you. Use the funds that have been allocated for the legal specialization program and pass a motion to retain that independent counsel to oppose the dissolution of CBLS as a violation of the Rule of Court 9.35 under which you were created, and seek relief. There's nothing that should be prohibiting you from doing that. And as I noted, the conflict of interest for the State Bar Council to represent you in this matter is egregious. And you have not been provided with independent counsel or the ability to defend yourself from this action. The program was once the model program for specialization throughout the country. It is a shame to see it pilloried and pilfered for no reason other than money needs to go somewhere other than the specialization program. It's a fraud on the specialists. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Mr. Lester. I think we all on the board greatly appreciate your comments. Again, personally, for me, just to, I think, reiterate, and for our record here, to clarify, on our term, on the committee, we did not voluntarily agree to wind down. This plan was not chosen by this committee. This was chosen by the Board of Trustees in their purview that they believe that they have that authority. We have opposed it. We've sent written opposition to the Board of Trustees on behalf of this board. And for present, as the chair of the board, I think we have not received guidance from State Bar Council on this in any way, guiding any of the members of this board. And I think that is unfortunate. And I think it has led the board members to not be properly informed. So, I personally will leave it at that. So with that, do we have anyone else on public comment?
We do not.
All right. Well, with that concludes public comment, and we will move forward with the chair report. So I'll be moving forward on that. So this is the last meeting for the CBLS of the State Bar year. So this concludes the State Bar year, which will return in, I believe, the next meeting that's scheduled will be December. This is also my last term and last meeting as both a member of the CBLS and the chair of CBLS. We are very fortunate on CBLS that George Sermitis will be advancing to chair, and Damon Jenkins will be advancing to vice chair. So we are in good hands in their advancement. Final parting comments, I guess, for me, as I will be heading off into the sunset. It has been a great honor and privilege to be part of the CBLS board, the Board of Legal Specialization. I think all of us who have joined this and have joined as specialists care about this program deeply. And as Mr. Lester pointed, this has been a model in the country of good governance, of course, legal specialization, but I think something much, much deeper and much greater. I think it's been a model of good lawyering, of lawyers who care about good lawyering and bar associations that care about good lawyering to say we're going to hold ourselves up to an even higher standard of professionalism, education, ethical oversight, and we're going to do it together as a committee, as a board of lawyers. And I think this has been the very best of what the California State Bar can do when we get our members together and we get the public together and work together to do our job, which is to protect the public. And I would just underline, I think it is unfortunate that CBLS as a board perhaps may not continue. That's outside of our purview, but would underline, I think this has been the best of what we can be, and losing that will be a significant loss. But let me brighten it up. I have personally enjoyed working with all of you. The only thing that I regret is not getting to know more of you, more than I already do. So with that, let's head on out into the open session of our meeting and go on to the approval of the June 16, 2025 CBLS minutes. If you would all kindly take a moment to review those minutes, we will then, after a few moments, go on for a call for a motion and then the vote. So if we'll take a moment. I think having already electronically reviewed those, is there a motion to approve the June 16th minutes?
I will move to approve those minutes.
Mr. Cervantes has moved. Do we have a second?
I can second.
And Member Bennett has seconded. So Janelle, may we have a roll call vote?
Alano, absent. Bennett,
Yes, approve.
Jenkins,
Yes, approve.
Lee,
Approve.
LaGlory, absent. Ruckert, absent. Surmitis,
Approve.
4 yeses and 0 nos, the motion passes.
Very good. With the meeting minutes approved, we will now move on to our staff reports. So we will have a report on key statistical indicators, and Anna will be providing that report.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's open on this PowerPoint. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'll be providing a report on the key statistical indicators. This is a standing item where we provide program metrics to give an idea of overall program health. Go ahead with the next slide, please. Okay. So for total number of certified specialists, we are currently at 4,558 specialists across 11 specialty areas. This is a slight decline from 4,675 at the same point last year, which is expected in a non-exam year. We've seen modest growth in several areas. Family law increased from 1368 to 1409. Estate planning rose to 1,014. Workers' comp grew from 905 to 935. Appellate, bankruptcy, criminal, and immigration law also saw minor gains. Legal malpractice remained steady while no area experienced a decline. Family law and estate planning continue to represent the largest share of certified specialists. This trend has been consistent over the years and continues to highlight the importance of outreach in other specialty areas. As the CBLS considers future opportunities, whether through outreach, program refinements, or expansion into new specialties, it's important to stay aligned with the board's goal of improving access to justice. In that regard, I want to briefly echo a point raised at our last meeting. The 2024 Justice Gap Study emphasized that immigration and employment-related issues remain top concerns for Californians, especially those from low-income backgrounds. The modest increases in immigration and workers' comp may reflect a positive direction in better meeting those needs. We'll be watching closely to see how the October exam cycle influences growth, and we're optimistic about what lies ahead. Next slide, please.
Sorry, Anna, I just wanted to add that I apologize, but the slide that's being presented is correct. So there was actually an increase from 2024, and all areas saw an increase. I just wanted to clarify that. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, now we'll take a look at where we stand with applications as of August 1st. We've received a total of 88 initial certification applications so far in 2025, compared to 146 at this time last year. This continues to be a trend we've seen over the past few months, a notable decline in applications compared to 2024. In July, we received 2 applications compared to 7 last year. In June, we received 6 compared to 15 last year. As mentioned in our last meeting, this may be related to the 18-month deadline to apply following the exam cycle. It's still early to tell whether this represents a longer term shift, but it's something we'll continue to monitor closely, especially with the October exam cycle approaching. We've, for recertification applications, they've begun to rebound slightly. We've received 488 applications as of the end of July compared to 645 at this point last year. While we're still seeing a decline overall, about 24% year over year, it's an improvement from earlier this year when we saw a much steeper drop. For reference, in June, we received 64 applications compared to 60 last year. In July, 77 applications came in compared to 84 in 2024. This trend will be important to track over the coming months, particularly as we look at ways to maintain engagement with existing specialists and improve long-term retention in the program. Go ahead with the next slide, please. Next, we have the numbers of applications approved. For initial certification applications, we're seeing 72 approvals in 2025 compared to 147 at the same point in 2024. That's a drop of just over 50%, which continues the downward pattern we've seen in new application submissions throughout the year. On the other hand, recertification approvals are showing strong growth. We have 460 approvals so far in 2025, up from 336 at this point last year, which is an increase of about 37%. Go ahead, next slide. Okay. Lastly, we have resignations. So far in 2025, we've processed 101 resignations compared to 119 at this point in 2024. This means we're tracking slightly lower overall than last year. Looking at recent months, June saw 10 resignations in 2025 versus 4 in 2024, while July recorded 6 in 2025 versus 4 in 2024. Despite these monthly increases, the year-to-date total still trails last year's numbers. Over 1/3 of those who resigned cited retirement as a reason. Among the remaining 2/3, the most common reasons included fees, a change in practice area, task and experience, and education requirements, or reasons categorized as other. And that concludes the key statistical indicators report.
Outstanding, Anna. Thank you so much. That's very, very helpful. I think we have some, good news, and it seems like interest in specialization is increasing. But perhaps for the future, thinking through when we take those numbers, drawing some distinction in when people resign, is it for a reason where they think there is a problem with the program in terms of fees, requirements, et cetera, versus things like retirement or change of practice area that's their change? That might be helpful to make the program better, of knowing it's something that they didn't like about the program, or is it something that's happening in the broader economy or practice that we have no control over. And then once we get that information, then we know how to make the program better. So great. I think that concludes statistical indicators. We now have recent developments, and I think we'll turn that over to Cody to introduce.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. I've just got a number of updates that I want to share with CBLS today. First, starting with an update on public comment related to the standards for the proposed privacy law specialty area. This is just a reminder that the public comment period closes on September 11th. So we've got about just under 2 weeks of left in that window. So we have received very few comments to date. So this is really an opportunity for members of the public to weigh in on that public comment period. Again, that deadline is September 11th. I also wanted to provide a few updates related to the upcoming October legal specialist exam. First, just an update on our registrations. We've received thus far 224 registrations to sit for the exam. We have specialists, we have individuals registered for each specialist exam except for the appellate criminal law exam, the criminal federal law exam, and then the admiralty and maritime law exam. So we're really pushing our outreach effort to try to bring those numbers up. Some of you may have saw that the State Bar sent an email to all California licensees, letting them know that the registration window was open for the October exam. We've also reached out to a number of bar associations and affinity groups. We've had a number of groups share that news and the registration link among their community and listserv. Just to name a few, we've got the Alameda County Bar Association, the Beverly Hills Bar Association, the LA County Bar Association, and several affinity groups like the Women Lawyers of Ventura County and others. It's a long list. Those are just a few that stand out. So we are really calling on our community of attorneys to help get the word out. As a reminder, the initial filing deadline is coming up here, and I'm just bringing it up so I nail it. That initial filing deadline is, there we go, is September 1. That's the timely filing deadline. Applicants can continue to submit applications for the legal specialist exam between now and the final filing deadline, which is October 1. So anyone who registers between September 1 and October 1 would pay an associated late fee. But we're really pushing the word out there and hopeful to get those numbers up. The last update I wanted to share with CBLS today is just information about the upcoming exam administration itself. As we have communicated to the applicants and to the public via our webpage and the application, the administration of this exam will be conducted using live remote proctors, using Prometric, who is our vendor for the first-year law students exam as well. This is slightly different than prior exams because in the past we've used a record and review process, so there were not live human proctors. This is preferable in some ways because of the ability to reduce any exam security and integrity risks. But because it is a new vendor, we are really working to make our communication to test takers as clear as possible. So we have a expanded and enhanced web page describing the process, and we have are currently preparing all of our communications regarding scheduling the exam and other steps. I think most notably, what I want to bring to the board and to members of the public who are listening is that to ensure that every test taker's computer equipment is compatible with the platform and to reduce any technical issues, each test taker is required to take a mandatory practice exam, which allows them to connect to the platform, get familiar with all of the features, and just ensure that their computer equipment is, again, is compatible with the platform. I should have noted, while most test takers will be taking this exam remotely using their own laptop and in their own space, there are limited space inside of Prometric test centers for those who maybe don't have a quiet space to take the exam, maybe don't have a stable internet connection, or who would prefer to handwrite the exam, along with certain individuals with testing accommodations. So those are my updates. Welcome any comments or questions.
Great, thank you so much. Any your questions, comments as to the recent developments?
I'm gonna ask, so what if a test taker has technical problems during the exam? What is the process to address that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we use Prometric for the first year law students exam. So we have kind of already in place a good working relationship to handle real-time issues. So we can, at the staff level, work with our Prometric representatives to help get an applicant back into their exam session. But typically that's not needed. If a test taker drops out, maybe they've had a temporary issue with their internet connectivity, they can log back in and they'll just be brought back into the exam using the check-in process.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, that we don't run into, the issues that occurred with the February bar exam.
Right. Yeah, certainly. And that's a priority for us. So we are working really closely with the vendor to ensure that any concerns we may have are addressed. I think the most important piece is proctor training. So the proctors are made aware of kind of the unique structure of this exam, the unique instructions for these test takers. And so there's ongoing efforts to ensure success at that level as well.
Great. I think Member Bennett has her hand up too. Please.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out well, two questions. How can you become a proctor? And the second is, will they lose time if there's a glitch with the system and they have to log back in?
Pim, on the second question, I believe like our exam software, the bar exam, if you experience a technical issue, time does continue. And generally technical issues are rare. As far as the requirements for being selected as a proctor, I do not know that. I'll have to get information and get back to you. The proctors are recruited by the exam delivery vendor.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions or comments on the recent developments for CBLS? Well, great. Thank you very much, Cody, for delivering all of that. And thank you for the insightful questions that we have. So I think we are now ready to move on to the business of today's meeting that we'll have two main items that we'll be discussing. This will be the discussion of and action on approval of the legal specialist examination conduct and sanctions policy for the legal specialist examination. And Janelle will introduce what this discussion and action item is about, and we can review and consider. So Janelle, please join on in.
Thank you, Michael. So today, we're bringing forward a discussion of an action on approval of the legal specialist examination conduct and sanctions policies for the legal specialist examination. So the CBLS oversees the legal specialist examination. We have historically applied the Chapter 6 rules used for the bar exam to the legal specialist conduct. The Chapter 6 rules don't formally apply to our exam, but the staff is recommending an adoption of a tailored examination conduct and sanctions policy. So as we look at these, this is our discussion today. It's the legal specialist overseen, as I said, by the CBLS and part of its certification process. Historically, the CBLS has relied on the Title IV, Division 1, Chapter 6 of the rules of the State Bar of California's admission rules and guidelines as they relate to the exam conduct and sanctions for other state bar exams. The Chapter 6 rules are not directly applicable to the specialist exam. Revisions to the Title III, Division 2, Chapter 2, the legal specialist examination rules are still under development. In the meantime, staff recommend that CBLS adopt the proposed policy regarding exam conduct and sanctions for the legal specialist examination as set forth in Attachment A. This mirrors the Chapter 6 rules with several modifications. Next slide, please. So the key differences for policy versus the Chapter 6, Policy 1.0, it combines the general and specific conduct expectations from the Chapter 6 rules and guidelines. Policy 1.2 is the legal specialist exam appeals process used for prior administrations that may result in the CBLS review at a closed session meeting. The staff review will then pull applicant appeals, then it will go to the Director of Admissions for review, and then it will go back to the CBLS to be reviewed if needed. It replaces the Chapter 6 administrative hearing process that may result in the Committee of Bar Examiners review. Then we have Policy 1.3. It removes the administrative hearings, but retains the due process. And it specifies information applicants must receive from the State Bar before the CBLS reviews. Next slide, please. So as you see in the Attachment 1, there was a matrix for violation sanctions. So the following violations will result in a warning, which will be unauthorized items in the exam room other than the electronic device, notes, or study aids, prohibited food or beverages in the exam room, accessing unpermitted items, personal items in the secured exam room, submitting exam answers in violation of rules, and failing to make a good faith effort on the exam. Next slide, please. So the following violations will also receive a score of 0. It will be a possession or use of an electronic device in the exam room or secured area, possession of notes or study aids except those permitted on the list of the code books and reference materials, leaving the view of the web camera outside of the scheduled breaks, attempting to bypass remote proctoring or receive unauthorized assistance, and individuals other than the applicant coming into the exam room. Next slide, please. These will also receive a 0 for their session. Unpermitted papers or books within the view or in reach in the exam room. Radios, stereos, or other devices, equipment that may make audible sounds in the exam room. Altering answer files after time has been called. Video, audio disruptions due to unmet remote exam system requirements. Engaging in disruptive or abusive behavior at the test center. Engaging in suspected cheating during the exam. And engaging in suspected cheating and discovered post-exam. Next slide, please. These are the following sanctions that will not be eligible for a hearing. Possession or accessing of your electronic devices in the exam room or secured area. Possession of unpermitted notes or study guides during testing. Leaving the view of the webcam outside of the scheduled breaks. Altering answer files after time has been called, and exam disruptions due to unmet remote system requirements.
If I may add just one detail for the committee members or the board members' benefit, just so that we're absolutely clear about this. What is proposed in this policy is exactly the practice that we have used for previous exams. Historically, we have come to this body to inform you that we would be utilizing these practices. What we have decided this exam is that it's more appropriate to bring you a policy and for you to take an action to adopt that policy. So I just want to make it clear because I think the policy may appear quite long. The decision matrix may appear like a lot of perhaps new information. What it actually is a reflection of our practice, which has been to adopt where possible the Chapter 6 rules and matrix, and where necessary to make modifications. So I just want to add that highlight.
Yes, thank you so much, Cody, because this, after reviewing it, has basically been the practice that we've done as a matter of practice, but we didn't have a formal adoption in previous years. Is that correct?
Correct. And what has been maybe a discussion that maybe feels like it overlaps, there has been discussion about updating the legal specialization rules, but because that's not yet complete, the board have not adopted that, there are no exam conduct rules for the legal specialist exam. So what we would have done in previous years in absence of those rules is bring to you all a description of the practices we would put in place. This exam, we've determined what we'd like to do is bring you a policy that reflects those practices so that you can take an action on it.
Very, very good. Any questions, comments, concerns from our members? Member Bennett, please.
Just briefly, why would the rules not be in place? There's guidelines there, so why would they not be final?
Pam, are you referring to like the existing admissions rules that we've said don't expressly apply?
Yeah, so those are rules that are already set in place, so those should work, right?
Yeah, well, I'll do my best to describe it, but Jean may jump in and have a more nuanced explanation. I think there's a couple of elements to the rules that make them not apply. One is that the Chapter 6 rules at times expressly reference the California bar exam and the first year law students exam, but do not reference the legal specialist exam. At other places in the rules, they're just incompatible, where they reference the committee of bar examiners, where in fact CBLS, of course, oversees the legal specialist examination. That's just to name a few. Gene, I don't know if there's maybe a more overarching incompatibility issue you want to identify, but
Not incompatibility, but the Chapter 6 rules are within the admissions rules. So they apply specifically to the first year law students exam and the California bar exam. And so, as you know, the CBLS, the specialization rules fall within Title 3 of our rules. And so they're separate. But we have utilized the Chapter 6 rules for the legal specialization exam in the past. And so this was an attempt to make that more formal and remove references that are not applicable to the legal specialization exam, and recognizing that it's not a licensing exam, but is a specialization exam.
yeah, and I'll just add the discussion and effort to add exam conduct rules for Title III related to legal specialization, that should continue. This isn't a complete replacement of that effort. It's just not complete, and rules have not yet been adopted. So this is really a stopgap in the meantime to ensure that there's appropriate policies in place for the October exam.
Good. So thank you so much. Any other questions, comments, concerns about this item? Well, then, hearing none, may I call for a motion? Is anyone in favor of this action? If so, please offer a motion. And this is the proposed motion, the resolution.
I will make the motion.
Very good. Vice Chair Sirmidas has made the motion. May I have a second?
I can second
I'll
it.
second it. Sorry.
Several seconds. Yes, Member Bennett and Member Jenkins. Well, great. With that, may we have a roll call vote?
Alano, absent. Bennett,
Approve.
Jenkins,
Approve.
Lee,
Approve.
McGlory, absent. Ruckert, absent. Sirmidas.
Approve.
With 4 yeas and 0 no's, the motion passes.
Very good. Well, that concludes our agenda item 4.1. We will now move on to agenda item 4.2, the discussion of an approval on the adoption of proposed testing accommodations policy and appeals process, and formulation of a subcommittee to review appeals for the 2025 legal specialist examination. And we'll return to Janelle to introduce this portion of our agenda.
Thank you. So the applications have opened for the 2025 examination on August 1st for the October 30th exam. Testing accommodations are available for applicants with disabilities. The CBLS historically has applied Title IV, Division I, Chapter 7 rules, but not directly applicable to the legal specialist examination. So on June 2024, the petition to the California Supreme Court for rules amendments were sent and are still being adopted and approved at the moment. So as we move to the next slide for our discussion, we would like to address, the application is open. There have been 6 requests and 0 appeals for the 2023 exam. As stated, the CBLS has relied on the Chapter 4, Division I, Title 4, Division I, Chapter 7 rules. Chapter 7 rules are not applicable. There's been amendments to the Chapter 7 rules, like I said, that are pending the Supreme Court approval. Staff has recommended that the CBLS adopt for this October 2025 examination only the procedures outlined in the petition to the Supreme Court with several exceptions. Staff recommended that the CBLS delegate and review a decision-making authority of testing accommodations appeals to appointed 2-member subcommittee. So the petition to the court for the Chapter 7 amendments, it revises and clarifies key definitions. It clarifies request processing timelines, automatic approval for prior accommodations granted for high stakes exams or bar exams, exceptions to allow requests regarding temporary disabilities to be considered closer to the exam date, and specify the information required from applicants who are not eligible for automatic approval. They require that applicants be notified within 30 days if additional information is needed, and to modify the timeline for submitted appeals of testing accommodation determinations. We go ahead and look at the key differences in policies for this petition. The application deadline as proposed rule does not specify a deadline for submitting testing accommodation request for the legal specialist exam. Staff implemented an October 1 deadline for the legal specialist examination, and it's clearly published online. We have an appeals process, which is proposed rules describes appeal process that may result in a review by the Committee of Bar Examiners. But the staff recommend continue with the prior practices of the CBLS, appointing a 2-member subcommittee to review these appeals after review by the Director of Admissions. So the appeal deadline, we have a proposed rule which allows for appeals to be submitted up to 30 days after the notification of a determination, not yet implemented due to the implicit 10-day window in current rules. And staff recommends a 10-day window per the current rules and practice. As in the current practice requests submitted near the final filing deadline, may not follow for a significant time of an applicant to request or the state bar to process an appeal. So the limit on reviews is each examination, it's not yet implemented, and the oversight as a CBLS will oversee the legal specialist examination. So today we ask that the recommended actions to adopt for the October 2025 legal special examination only, the testing accommodations procedures outlined in the June 2024 petition to the California Supreme Court, and we establish a 2-member subcommittee to review and make any determinations regarding appeals of testing accommodation determinations that must be considered between regularly scheduled CBLS meetings. So we're asking that we would like to schedule this meeting if possible on October 8th to ensure members are aware of the potential time commitment, and we'll be able to inform that the meeting can be canceled if ultimately not needed due to any petitions that may come across that need CBLS's attention.
Very good. So any questions, thoughts, or comments on item 4.2 for accommodations and the review of accommodations? I think this is very akin to a 4.1, correct? Yeah. To achieve
yeah, Chair Lee, it's essentially the same issue that needs to be addressed. And again, in the past, we've used this practice of relying on the existing rules. The only reason that I think we've taken a slightly different approach here, pointing to the petition as opposed to producing a new policy, is that we want the policy used for the legal specialist exam to reflect as close as possible as what is already being implemented in our testing accommodations team for the other exams. And the petition reflects language that is, the petition to the court reflects language that in some cases more clearly describes what is our current practice, because some of the proposed changes have already been implemented under the existing rules, where the existing rules maybe aren't as specific as the petition about those kind of procedures. So again, what is being adopted here would would have been our practice under the process that CBLS has used in the past, which is to allow our admissions rules and our testing accommodations team to use its standard practices for the exam. We are using the petition as the reference point for kind of the on-paper policy to be adopted.
Excellent, thank you. I see Member Bennett.
Hey,
Please.
me again, sorry. I just
No.
wanted to clarify. So testing it occurs every 2 years. I know it's the 2023 data inserted here. So we're at 2025. So the next exam will be 2027. Okay.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
correct.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Yes, I think for our overarching goal is that our rules are fair, consistent, well noticed to anyone taking the exam, and transparent. So I think this is all an effort towards doing that. So any other questions, comments, concerns? Very good. With that, may we take a look at the motion? Very good. So we have the motion as to item 4.2 here regarding the approval of the adoption of the proposed testing accommodations policy and the appeals process, along with the formation of the subcommittee. So shall we start the roll call vote?
Chair Lee, I'm sorry to interrupt. May I ask, and this may be a question for Jean. Jean, is the board being asked to just in concept establish a 2-member subcommittee, or is this the opportunity to appoint those members as well?
If we have individuals who would like to participate in that, and now would be an opportune time to do that. Otherwise, this probably does require a delegation from this body to the chair to appoint those members.
Oh, and I think that's, oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Chair. I'm sorry.
I think this is a very important point because I think these persons will be potentially needed quickly. So if again, appreciate you all members already volunteering, but if we could ask for a little bit more, if anyone would like to perhaps throw their hat in the ring and consider volunteering to be on this CBLS committee, subcommittee to review testing accommodation determinations, it would be greatly appreciated if anyone would like to volunteer.
I don't know.
Well, if it's
if it becomes too challenging and I can't continue, I will let you know. But I don't mind helping out.
let me describe the commitment too, because I think that might help. We intend on having one scheduled meeting for this. It will likely be October 8th or around that time. That meeting will only continue if there are appeals that the CBLS needs to consider. In 2023, I think we had no appeals that went to CBS for consideration. So that's not to say we certainly will need members to be prepared, but there's a chance that the kind of time commitment is minimal.
Okay, I can handle that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Excellent. Anyone else like to consider?
I'm willing to as well.
Excellent. Great. Thank you, Member Jenkins. Did anyone want to, should we nominate it? Does anyone want to be an alternate just in case? Well, very good. I think we have at it. So this is our updated motion that we have involving the adoption, the establishment of the subcommittee, and then the selection of the members to join the subcommittee.
And if we're concerned at all about needing alternates, we could add a provision to the end of this that says, and the CBLS delegates authority to the chair to assign an alternate member if needed.
Yes, I think that's helpful because as we are in a testing year, so your service may be needed to make sure that, again, we are ready on our side to appropriately and fairly handle issues as to accommodations, an issue that I think we all care about because we want fairness. So I think that's good. So excellent modifications there. Anything else that we should consider before we move on to roll call vote? Any questions, concerns, thoughts on our motion? Very good. I think having gone through the process, our motion is better and in the form that we have proposed. So shall we move on to roll call vote?
We need a motion and a second first to move
Oh,
forward.
yes. Yeah, let's do that first. May we have a motion for our resolution here?
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution 4.2 as described and revised.
Excellent. We have the motion of Member Bennett. May we have a second?
I'll second it.
Yes, and Member Jenkins has seconded. So with that procedurally correct, we may now move on to the roll call vote.
Alano, absent. Bennett,
Approve.
Jenkins,
Approve.
Lee,
Approve.
LaGlory, absent. Ruckert, absent. Surmitis.
Approve.
With 4 yeses and 0 nos, the motion passes.
Excellent. Very good. So with items 4.1 and 4.2 of our business concluded, that concludes the scheduled business. So we will be ending our open session of the meeting and moving to closed session. Before I end, do any members have any questions, thoughts, comments before we conclude? Well, very good. I don't mean to put either of you on the spot, but I greatly privileged and happy to have worked with Vice Chair Surmitis through this process. If they're saying anything that I did right during my time, it was with his help. So we're I think very looking forward to his advancement. The same for Member Jenkins join, and will be advancing to Vice Chair. Very happy to have worked with him, even though for a short period of time as I'm cycling off. Do either of you wish to make a light welcome before we move on to closed session?
I just want to note it's been great working with you, Michael. I've learned a lot from your leadership and your comments and the wisdom on this board. You'll be missed, though.
I will miss you all, and this well, we're going to move forward. We'll do what we can to preserve our board, so we'll do what we
Right.
can. But alas, things are what they are. But I've greatly enjoyed that. And yes, and Member Jenkins, anything as you advance to Vice Chair?
Just thank you for your example as chair, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone else in the near future.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. And I also like to also personally thank you, Member Bennett, as a public member, and Ms. McGlory's not here as a public member. We are a technical, wonky, narrow band, for the board, and we really appreciate the public joining in this, because we are a little bit specialized. We put it in the name, but as we've seen with this meeting, our public members make our work better. So I really, really personally appreciate that, and thank you. So I think with that concludes our open session meeting. I will, of course, those of you on for the public, I will be off into the sunset because my term will expire this meeting, but you are in the best of hands. So we will now pause and convert over to the closed session meeting. So remote members, may leave and log out of the meeting, and members may then log into the closed session meeting that has been circulated by Janelle. Does anyone want to break, or shall we just move right on in? Move right on in? Yeah, let's move right on in. We'll move right on in. So do feel free to begin to log out. Staff will pause the recording, and then we will rejoin in on the closed session link. See you all there. Best wishes. Oh, very good. Welcome back all to the open session meeting. I believe we have everyone correct, Janelle?
Correct.
Great. So with that, again, thank you all. The next meeting is scheduled in person at the State Bar offices in Los Angeles on December 13th from 10 a.m. to the time that will be noticed. Chair Sermitis will move forward along with Vice Chair Jenkins. Will be supporting you via Zoom, watching you from there. So that we have ended the open and closed session items. There are no actions to report out from the closed session. So there is nothing to report. Again, thank you all for attendance. The time is 11:28. Is there any questions, thoughts, comments before we adjourn today?
Is the date that you just stated correct? So you said December 13th?
It's
Or should
actually
it be
12th. I apologize for that.
12?
Oh, yeah. Is that a Saturday, the 13th?
I'll
Yeah.
send a meeting invite at the end of this for that correct date of December 12th.
Yeah. See, you
Thank
can
you.
tell I've tuned out, is that I don't play. I'm not able to be there, so I don't know whether it's what day it is. But yes, you all can enjoy 12/12 in person and the other's company. So fantastic. Great. Any other thoughts, comments, or are we all set? Well, I think with that, thank you all. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you the best weekend. And I look forward to seeing you again some other time in some other place in some other context.
Okay.
So great. Take care
Thank
all.
you.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.